Ever feel like you're giving so much of yourself but somehow still end up invisible? Like you're running on empty while everyone else keeps taking? What if I told you that the secret to real power isn't giving more, it's learning to say no, fearlessly and unapologetically? Today we're flipping the script on selfishness, because what feels like me first might actually be your breakthrough. Let this be your permission to stop shrinking and start choosing you. Hi guys, I'm Daria and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, this is a space where we dive deep into personal growth, self-worth, and letting go of anything that no longer serves us. Today we're unpacking why being selfish in the healthiest way possible will not ruin your relationships, but actually change your life. You'll learn how setting boundaries and choosing yourself can clear the way for better energy, real connections, and a life that feels truly yours. Let's get into it. Chapter 1: The Lie They Sold Us About Selflessness. You were taught that being selfless makes you good, but here's the truth. Selflessness is not a virtue when it becomes self-erasure. You're not a better person for always putting yourself last. You're just a more exhausted one. We were raised to believe that being a good woman means shrinking beautifully, to water dead plants with our time, to show up even when our souls were screaming, "Please stay home," to carry everyone else's needs like a purse we didn't even pick out. We learned to overgive before we even knew how to receive, to say it's okay through gritted teeth. But let me ask you something. Who claps for the girl who never asks for anything? No one, because they're too busy taking. You become the emotional concierge, the unpaid therapist, the one who always shows up, but still somehow feels invisible. Letting people walk all over you doesn't make you kind, it makes you furniture. You know what I've learned? If you don't set boundaries, people will gladly take what you're offering for free, and they'll keep taking until you finally invoice them in boundaries. They didn't know it had value because you never treated it like it did. Keep this in mind. When you don't have limits on how much you give, people who take, usually they don't have either. Takers rarely pause to check your limits. They'll gladly accept what you're offering, especially when you make it look easy. That's not their job, it's yours. Queen energy isn't in how much you carry, it's in how much you decline. If you keep handing out pieces of yourself like samples in a mall, don't be surprised when no one offers to pay full price. You don't owe anyone your exhaustion. You owe yourself your wholeness. Being the bigger person should never mean becoming the emptier one. The day you decide your peace matters more than their comfort, that's the day you stop people-pleasing and start soul-keeping. Because when you're always available, you become replaceable. And when you're always accommodating, you become invisible. Respect doesn't come from being everything for everyone. It comes from being something to yourself. Setting boundaries isn't rude. It's responsible. And if someone calls you selfish for protecting your energy, remember, only the ones who benefited from your silence will hate the sound of your no. Some won't like the new you, the one who pauses before answering, the one who no longer breaks her own back just to keep the peace, but that's fine. You weren't put on this earth to audition for approval. You came to arrive because the old you, the one who always said yes, she was dying inside. And that's not kindness. That's self-abandonment dressed in politeness. Chapter 2: Choosing yourself is not a crime. They say you're selfish when you choose yourself, but let me ask you something. Is it selfish to drink water when you're thirsty? To rest when you're tired? To say I matter too without apologizing for it? Then why does protecting your peace feel like rebellion? Because they benefited when you didn't. Of course they did. Self-sacrificing women are great for everyone except themselves. You were easier to love when you didn't ask for too much, more convenient when you were constantly available, more likable when you smiled and swallowed your needs whole. But likability is not a currency worth your burnout, your sleep, or your sanity. The people who call you selfish for choosing yourself are the ones who were comfortable when you didn't. You're not hard to love, you're just finally loving yourself first. I stopped saying yes to plans that left me drained before I even got dressed. Stopped feeling guilty for needing silence more than small talk. Stopped molding myself to fit into spaces I never felt safe to begin with. Some rooms only welcome you if you shrink. So I stopped entering quietly and started exiting loudly. I'm not difficult. I'm just selective. And I don't owe my energy to every open invitation. I wasn't made to be bite-sized. I was made to be whole. Soft-spoken, but deeply rooted. I don't do small anymore. Emotionally, spiritually, or conversationally. And guess what? The world didn't collapse when I chose myself. But my self-worth, she quietly bloomed. Here's what they never tell you. You don't need to be needed to be valuable. You don't need to be busy to be important. You don't need to burn just to keep other people warm. Sometimes self-care looks like canceling plans and curling up in a sweater that feels like a soft, silent hug. Sometimes it's deleting a number with the same ease you delete blurry photos. A blurred connection isn't nostalgia, it's noise. Because if it doesn't bring clarity, why keep it? If your peace costs someone else comfort, it's still worth it. Let them talk, let them whisper. They can call it selfish. I call it self-respect. And if that offends them, good. Boundaries were meant to cause discomfort, just not yours. Because your joy isn't negotiable, and your time isn't a clearance sale, and your peace, not a group project. You're not asking for too much. You're just finally done settling for too little. So choose yourself. Boldly, softly, loudly, quietly, but choose yourself, because the people who truly love you won't flinch when you do. Chapter 3. When you start choosing you, everything shifts. Here's the beautiful part about becoming selfish. You stop chasing and start attracting. When you choose you, you glow different, you walk different. You no longer explain your value, you embody it. You become a mirror, a magnet, a standard. Choosing yourself isn't a betrayal, it's a declaration, a hello to your own worth, loud and unapologetic. It's the quiet rebellion of finally putting your needs on the guest list. And trust me, once you say, I'm in, to your own celebration, the rest just clicks into place. And suddenly, the energy you used to hand out like party favors becomes sacred, reserved, protected like a velvet rope around your peace, with security at the door and no plus ones for energy vampires. When you stop being easy to access, you become impossible to forget. They'll call it selfish. Later, they'll call it magnetic. I started romanticizing my own life, lighting candles just for myself, not for ambience, but as a love letter to my own presence. Buying flowers with no occasion except the fact that I'm alive. Drinking tea like it's a ritual. Dressing for the day I want, not the mood I woke up in. Saying yes only when it felt like a full body yes, and letting no be a full sentence with a period, not a paragraph with guilt. Wearing red lipstick just because I want to, no special occasion required. Once someone asked, why are you wearing red lipstick? Is it a party or something? And I said, yeah, life is the party. Every day is a gift. Because guess what? When you stop begging for crumbs, you remember you've always had the appetite for the whole cake. Not just a slice, the whole cake. People feel the shift. Some drift away quietly, others fall off loudly, but the ones who stay, they rise with you. They adjust to your new volume. They don't ask you to dim. They bring sunglasses and say, shine louder. And the ones who walk away, let them. You didn't lose them. You found you. Besides, what's more luxurious than peace? What's more magnetic than a woman who knows she doesn't have to audition for affection? Selfish isn't a flaw, it's a filter. It shows you who benefits from your burnout and who genuinely respects your bloom. So go ahead, choose yourself without flinching, without disclaimers, not just once, but over and over again, and watch the universe adjust accordingly. Chapter 4. The Feminine Power of No. You know what one of the most powerful words in your vocabulary is? No. No to chaos, no to crumbs, no to shrinking yourself into someone else's idea of nice, no to being the unpaid intern of their healing journey. We're often told power has to be loud, bold, flashy, but true feminine power is the quiet force, the calm in the storm, the confident pause in a noisy room. It's elegant, unshakable, and deeply decisive. A woman who can say no without guilt is a woman who owns herself. You don't need to scream to be heard. Sometimes silence is the sharpest reply. At first, saying no might feel uncomfortable, awkward even, like you're breaking some unspoken contract to always being agreeable. But trust me, that discomfort is nothing compared to the quiet ache of betraying yourself. People pleasing might get you applause, but self-respect gets you peace. Because if you don't say no, people treat your time like an all-you-can-drain buffet, coming back for more with zero shame and empty plates. Saying no, that's your power move. You don't owe everyone access to you. You're not a 24/7 community center. Your time and energy are not public property. And listen, no, not every message needs a reply. No, not every invitation deserves a yes. No, not every person deserves the softness you spent years cultivating, polishing, and learning to share wisely. No is not a door slammed shut. It's a graceful redirection. It points you toward what actually honors your heart and nourishes your soul. Think of no like perfume. Sprayed too often, it loses its magic, but when it lingers in the right places, it captivates and commands attention. Your energy works the same way. Let them miss you. Let them wonder why you're suddenly less accessible. Let them feel the weight of your boundaries. Because when you guard your peace fiercely, you teach others how to value it too. Saying no is not selfish. It's sacred. It's the gentle power move that says, I'm here, but I'm mine. I will not be stretched thin to fit someone else's chaos or comfort. And honestly, what's more attractive than a woman who owns her no? So next time you feel the urge to explain, to apologize, or to soften your no, remember, your no is a full sentence. Period. No footnotes, no justifications, no rehearsed apologies. You are rewriting the rules of your own life, and no is your signature move. Own it. Embrace it. Let it echo louder than any yes you ever gave out of obligation. Because real power isn't about being available to everyone. It's about being fiercely available to yourself. And that is feminine power at its most magnetic. So go ahead, say no like you mean it, because honestly, who else will? Chapter 5. The glow up no one talks about. The real glow up, it's not contour, it's not a new haircut or a better wardrobe, though yes, we love those too. It's spiritual. It's the quiet moment you stop asking, is this okay? And start saying, this is who I am. It's no longer squeezing into spaces that don't fit your soul, no longer watering yourself down to make others comfortable, no longer auditioning for connection like love is a prize and you're a contestant. This glow up, it happens when your standards rise, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. Listen, I get it. Setting boundaries and saying no can feel hard, especially if you're new to it. But here's the thing. I'm talking about healthy egoism. It's not about being selfish in a bad way. It's about truly recognizing your worth and honoring your needs as a foundation for better, more positive connections with the world. Without healthy egoism, you risk getting stuck in a cycle where your needs always take a backseat, leaving you drained, resentful, and unseen. People might start treating you like an open door, expecting you to always be available, always saying yes, and rarely taking your feelings seriously. You become everyone's go-to, but rarely a priority. And trust me, that kind of giving doesn't just drain your energy, it chips away at your sense of self. Believe me, it's something you learn over time. Even in my teenage years, I didn't always feel comfortable setting clear boundaries or saying a firm no, but the more you practice, the easier it gets. And honestly, it's worth every awkward, uncomfortable moment. These days, I'm much more comfortable saying a clear no, setting clear boundaries, and confidently saying, I don't do this or I don't do that when it doesn't align with my vision. And remember, this is all about healthy egoism, honoring yourself, not shutting the world out. Of course, there will be moments when we have to do things that we don't want to, but the difference is knowing when to stand your ground and when to bend without losing yourself in the process. Being selfish doesn't ruin your relationships. It reveals the ones that are. And yes, some people will call it selfish, but the right ones, they'll call it inspiring. Because the woman who chooses herself, she doesn't beg for attention. She becomes the room. She doesn't chase. She glows. She's not louder. She's clear. Not colder. Just less available to the things that drain her. She doesn't compete because she's already enough. When your energy is no longer desperate, it becomes divine. You weren't too much. You were just giving too much to people who didn't know what to do with it. So if you need a sign, here it is. Start being selfish. Not in the small, petty way, but in the sacred, revolutionary way. Choose you, fiercely, unapologetically, with no disclaimers, because when you start choosing yourself, everything changes. Your days feel lighter, your relationships feel cleaner, the right people rise to meet you, and the wrong ones exit stage left. Peace becomes your baseline, and suddenly life starts to feel like yours again. Let them adjust or let them leave. The right ones will celebrate your growth. The rest, that's what the sunglasses are for. Shine anyway. That's a wrap for today's video. Thank you for being here. And remember, this journey is yours. There's no rush, no perfect timeline. Every small step toward choosing yourself is a victory worth celebrating. So go ahead, shine your light a little brighter today. The world needs your glow just as you are. Till next time.